Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Now today I wanted to cover HOCD, something that I experienced myself from personal experience as a chronic severe OCD sufferer, and also a very common theme that we deal with a lot at HOCD Recovery. Lots of people come in through the door with HOCD. Okay, now HOCD, the fear of being gay, the fear of being homosexual, the fear of not knowing, so maybe you're wasting your time, quote unquote, wasting your time in the relationship right now because you're convinced you're gay, or you're convinced you're going to come out as gay later on in life. And what OCD does, it's the realness factor as well. You know, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between whether it's real or not. That's exactly what it does, and that's exactly why it latches to it. That's how it operates, because if you knew that you were definitely gay or you definitely weren't gay, there would be no grey area, there would be no uncertainty, and it would not latch because, oh yeah, I'm definitely not, oh yeah, I definitely am, and then off you go, living your merry way. But the problem is OCD goes after those uncertain things, often around sexuality, where you can't quite know because you have intrusive thoughts during times of, let's say, intimacy, during unwanted times, and the feelings as well, the groinal responses, all the sort of intense sensations that come with it. And the constant measuring feelings, the measuring arousal responses, the false attractions, is all part of how HOCD operates. Okay, so it's very, very common. You're certainly not alone. You're not broken, you're not trapped, you're not this weird, strange, treatment-resistant exception case. No, you have OCD and it just latches to what you're scared of. And currently right now, it's the unknown of sexuality. What as if I'm gay? What as if I'm living a lie? What as if I'm living a secret? Okay, now, it happens all the time. People come in and say, yeah, but Sam, I just want to know. I just want to know for sure that I am gay. And the fear of being gay, the fear of being rejected, the fear of wasting that current relationship with their partner. Even happens the other way as well. So let's say someone's in a same-sex relationship, and then it's the fear of what is I'm actually heterosexual, which can happen and which we deal with a lot. OCD can manifest in many ways. There's no set way that it latches to. We hear it all the time, all different fears, all different themes. So certainly don't be afraid to come in and email phil@hocdrecovery.com to book in sessions with us at the team. And don't be afraid to talk about that. Yes, I understand why I was scared myself. You know, when I was talking about HOCD for the first time with Rob, I was very, very scared because I was like, oh, what's he going to think of me? Does that mean it's real now? Does that mean me getting out in the open is confirmation and and verifies that it's real? You know, that's how OCD is going to operate, and that's what it's going to latch to. Okay, so with HOCD, we have to really look at the fears at play and look at the beliefs at play. Okay. It's I have to know my sexuality. I need to know for sure that I'm 100% heterosexual, or that I'm definitely homosexual, that we need to know for sure. Okay. Well, reality is you're not going to know for sure. Okay. It's that dire necessity, that dire need to know right now, that urgent need, which is fueling the cycle, which is causing the problem of how you feel. The anxiety, the depression, the panic, the guilt. It's because you are holding those kind of beliefs around not knowing. Okay, now remember, you have a doubting disorder. I have a very good indication that I am heterosexual. However, I can never rule out, and nor can anyone rule out, that you are definitely not homosexual. Okay, because the brain can develop in a way where you do not pick who you're attracted to, and that can happen over time, usually around ages during puberty, but it can happen later on in life. Or reality is some people may be in a same-sex relationship, and then they then leave that person and then date someone, marry, have kids with someone, or just have that long-lasting relationship with someone of the same sex. That can happen. Okay, so you've got to go towards the worst case scenario. You can't just avoid this. You can't avoid anything to do with the topic of being gay or homosexual. You have to look at people who have done that, people who are living your worst case scenario, because it shows it's all about beliefs and perspectives. Because to them, for example, they are not scared of that. Maybe there were challenges, maybe there are difficulties, of course, I'm sure there would be. However, they've overcome that, and it shows that the reason you're stuck is because that chronic fear is holding you back. You're seeing that fear is an illusion there, okay? Because that would mean everyone in the world will be scared of that, which they're not. And obviously, OCD is going to doubt that, is going to get after that grey area, that faded, unsure, not quite know, not quite 100% sure area, which is exactly what it's doing. Okay, so once I made peace that I was never going to know for sure, that helped massively. Okay, the next one was making peace with worst case scenario. So, for example, my partner could leave me. She could suddenly decide that she's homosexual. That could happen. It could. You know, I can't ever rule that out. It happens in life. You see many other stories like that. And you're just gradually bringing down the catastrophization if that did happen. Well, you know, you'd like to know, of course you would like to know, but that chase for being sure and certain is exactly that thing where, okay, I just need to know now, or what's the point of getting married now, or what's the point of dating now, because what is if 20 years time I come out as homosexual, they come out as homosexual, so then you avoid things in the now. You avoid making plans with marriages or kids, or just going out on dating if you're single. And HOCD can play such a big part. Now, you got to remember, OCD is going to make it feel as real as it can get. Now, with HOCD with me, it was the realness of feelings. For example, if I was around a man that I could acknowledge is good looking, the arousal, the attraction can suddenly feel so intense and feel so real, leaving that, oh my God, am I gay? Or do I not know if I'm gay? Okay, but the problem there isn't the fact whether you're gay or not, it's that need to know. Or you could be holding the belief that I must not be gay, I must not be homosexual, which is obviously something that needs to be broken down, because that is very, very irrational. Because if that was true, then there would be no gay people, there would be no homosexual people, which obviously isn't the case. Okay, so when you look at what it is, all it is, you have a brain that will be attracted to the same sex. It's your perception of that which is fueling the problem. It's your opinion, it's your beliefs around that which is fueling how you feel, which is fueling the suffering. Okay, it's very important to look at it like that. Now, I often set lots of exposures with HOCD. Okay, I often set them quite small and then build higher and higher and higher, going up the hierarchy of exposures, because exposures really help me with HOCD. I see it helps thousands of people that we coach, hundreds of people that we coach. It helps them because you're seeing that, yes, it's all just an illusion. Fear is an illusion. Okay, fear is the thing holding you back because you're absolutely terrified of not knowing, or terrified of the rejection, or terrified of the shame, or terrified of living a lie. And then once, for example, a good exposure, you know, I always recommend exposures in one-to-ones because it's very set towards your specific fear. It's very customized to what's keeping you stuck, or what's what you're specifically scared of. So it's very important we have one-to-ones there, but just some basic ones would be, you go into a clothes store, for example, and asking for some shoes, or for some jeans, or for a coat, or any clothing item for your partner, so for your boyfriend or your girlfriend, depending on what sex you are. Okay, that's always a good one because you get used to the potential rejection if that person gives you. So the person you're asking, or what do they think? They obviously think I'm gay now. Or why is that so scary? And you're breaking that down in your head whilst you're bringing on discomfort. You're really experiencing that discomfort. And then we can go up even further. And then we can start going to bookstores and picking out homosexual books, or books written on a romance with the same sex and things like that, or asking someone, look, I'm looking for books for my boyfriend or for my girlfriend, or whatever sex you are. Okay, and you're really getting used to feeling that someone may think you're gay. Okay, you go up again and go into the pharmacy and asking for condoms for your boyfriend, and things like that. Okay, obviously the things you're going to feel very uncomfortable about. You're going to really experience that that potential, or the anxiety spike. There's no potential anxiety spike. The anxiety will spike there for sure. You've got to see that as, okay, what am I actually scared of here? What's the thing that's holding me back? Okay, there's the core fear. There's the irrational belief. And then breaking that down. Okay, but exposures are also set for seeing that it's nowhere near as scary as you perceive. Because you build this big scary thing up in your head, you then go into avoidance, you then just do anything to avoid that fear, not even think about that, not even try to think about it, not even mention that, which is complete avoidance. We need to start going towards this fear. Okay, that's just a few random examples of how HOCD can be tackled, but I always recommend coming in one-to-ones because, exposures aren't just something that everyone does. Exposures is to really get under your specific fear, your thing that's keeping you stuck, your barrier that you're setting yourself through fear, through avoidance, through compulsions, and really getting under that. So certainly you get in touch with one-to-ones regarding those. Okay, so it's really, really important to remember that. HOCD, and I've touched on this previously in this video, it's not usually, obviously it can happen, it's not usually just chucking in thoughts around times you don't really care. So it's not gonna, walking down the street and you're constantly thinking of the same sex. Yes, that can happen, but what OCD does to really ramp up the intensity and the realness is going to chuck in thoughts during sex, during any sexual intimacy, during job interviews, maybe when you're around friends, maybe when you're around a good-looking guy or female of the same sex. It's going to do that, and then the false attraction, the false arousal, that's what it's going to do. And then you'll be scanning, you'll be monitoring for any bodily sensation. Oh my god, this means it's real. This is evidence now. This is proof. This is truth now. So that means it's real. But for example, with me now, this was a big thing for me. HOCD was a big theme for me. But I'm not constantly going around going, oh yeah, I've got an answer now. It's all fine. I've got certainty now. No. How to overcome this? I had to make peace that, okay, even if I was gay, even if I was living a lie, even if I was in the wrong relationship, even if I did know and didn't say it, tell anyone, even if it did come out 30 years later, even if I was attracted to males, okay, we have to go towards making peace with that. And that comes down through unconditional acceptance, accepting yourself even if you were gay, or even if you didn't make that decision, even if you stayed in a relationship when you knew you were gay, okay, accepting yourself with that. Looking at worst case scenario, okay, making peace with that, breaking that down and seeing that it's nowhere near as scary as you perceive. Yes, there would be challenges. Yes, there would be difficulties, of course. But yeah, and the next thing is looking at exposures as well. Exposures really help with this specific theme. Attending, let's say, for example, gay pride events, or watching films, for example, where there may be a gay couple, either homosexual or gay men or a lesbian couple. You need to start going towards that and let any feeling be there. Let any sensation be there. Okay, as soon as you try and run away from it, as soon as you go, right, that means it's real now, I need to get certainty. No, that's the wrong path. Okay, it's gonna feel real. It's gonna feel very intense. You won't be able to tell the difference between whether it's real or not. So we have to rock and roll with that and get used to even if it was real. That takes time, of course, but that is the path we have to go down. Because people, when I break this down with people on calls, I say, okay, well, let's say you were gay. Why would that be so scary? And they go, oh, because of rejection. And you break it down bit by bit and you realise that, yes, people may reject you, but that's down to their own beliefs, that's down to their own perspectives, that's down to their own judgment. Unless you're saying that I only accept myself or only if my friends approve of me, if my parents approve of me, then I can accept myself. Well, that's also going to cause guilt and depression and anxiety. You could say that although I would like their approval, I would like their liking, I want their liking, I prefer that, I desire to have that, but I never need that. Okay? I really wouldn't want them to think that of me or to not like me because of that. But so what? Too bad. I cannot change that. I would like them to not think that, but they're going to think that. Okay, because that's their own perceptions, that's their own beliefs, that's their own judgment, that's their own views, and you can only try and, you can speak to them, you can try and be calm and rational about it, but at the end of the day, and the bottom line is, you could not change their opinion on that, and you cannot change how they perceive you. Once you realise that's nowhere near as scary as you perceive, because your life is not defined, your personhood, your totality, your identity is not defined on what someone else thinks of you, and that is a big shift, a big perspective shift. Okay, and breaking down the fear of rejection. Now, I also say that you do realise you could be gay and you could date someone of the same sex and actually enjoy the relationship very, very much. You might even enjoy it more than the opposite sex. I go, okay, didn't really realise, I didn't even think about that. But because naturally, when OCD first hits, you don't, because you're just going, oh my God, I need to know for sure, I need to know for sure. But you've got to take a step back, look at worst case scenario, and then, well, I could even be happier. I could maybe be single. I could enjoy dating both sexes, both sexualities. Who knows? Okay. But as soon as you then shut the door and go, right, no, it'd be the worst thing ever. I couldn't stand it. I have to be 100% sure that I'm not gay. Then, of course, OCD is going to run riot. It's going to run absolute riot with the false attraction, the false arousal. It's exactly what it does. Okay. It's very, very important to remember. Now, with gay, that's just a label that you apply to someone. For example, all it is they are attracted to the same sex, sexually attracted to the same sex. Okay. Now, that, although that could be the situation at the moment, that can change, right? As can someone in 30 years' time suddenly come out as gay, come out as lesbian, and then date someone of the same sex. And then maybe that didn't work, that didn't quite work out, they didn't quite like that, weren't quite happy like that, and they go back to someone of the opposite sex, okay? So when you give this big scary label as, you're gay, I can't be gay, all you're doing is giving yourself this, oh my God, that's it now, I've got this label, I can't ever get rid of this label, my life's doomed, I can't ever change, I can't even, that's it now, I'm always in this category, my life's over, I can't live life, I can't live my life I can't live the rest of my life with that label, with knowing that, people always think badly of me. You can see how that 0 to 100 catastrophization comes in, and I see it all the time. But what we do in these coaching calls, we take a step back and we look at, okay, let's break down each fear, let's break down each worst case scenario, let's see where you're going wrong, let's see how you're catastrophizing this, and going towards making peace and becoming more comfortable with the worst case scenario of not knowing, living a lie, being gay, the rejection that may come with that. And that's how you can overcome this fear. And that comes down with disputing irrational beliefs, doing exposures, no putting off exposures, no avoiding exposures. I see it all the time, people avoiding exposures. I understand why, I avoided it myself, but avoiding that exposure is the barrier towards the next step of recovery. We have to view it as if our life depends on it, because let's be honest, it does. Look what OCD is currently taken away from you. It's taken away many, many things right now, with the avoidance and all the compulsions, all the time taken, the energy taken to do compulsions, and the suffering and the exhausting rumination. Yes, that can't just be brought down overnight, but if you're not even looking at making any changes, if you're not changing your life structure or your exposures or working on beliefs, and you've got time to suffer from OCD, it means you've got time to recover from it and put in the work to recover, okay? So it's very, very important to remember. I want to leave you on this, that you're not alone, you're not broken, you're not this strange case, you're not this treatment-resistant case. All it is you're scared of something. And bit by bit, we're going to break that down. Email phil@hocdrecovery.com. And also, when I stop speaking, a phone number, a WhatsApp number will come up here, and you can contact us on WhatsApp, and we'll get you booked in ASAP. There is no waiting list, so we'll get back to you today.